Now that's what I'm talking about. More mistakes, big problems, we get to fix it. Hey, welcome back to the Odd Rod Garage. Appreciate you guys coming by, spending time with us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give us a like with that thumbs up. Share the link. Leave a comment for us. And you know what? Turn on the bell notification. Hey, back on the 55 Chevy 2-door Gasser wagon. And here's an interesting thing. As we get to digging into this, whoever was racing this before, I don't know how they didn't die. We have found problems on the front end that we are going to fix. Check this out. So sometimes when I'm here working, Tommy's here working too. Look at this. Thomas. Cameo with Thomas.
Try not to blow holes in here.
Trying not to blow holes, but he's not using his helmet. Bad boy. All right, so check this out. This is on the front end. And here's the problem. See how the axle comes across? And we have that kingpin at that angle. This front end is upside down. And if they ran it like this, as it tried to drive down the road, it would try and turn left and right and left and right, and it would be all over the road. I don't know what they were thinking. It's completely wrong. We actually have to flip the axle the other direction. We're gonna have to change all of the steering components. While we're in there, we're probably gonna be messing with the brakes because I would like to change it to disc, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, there's gonna be lots of alterations. Gonna be lots of fun. Hang on for the ride. All right, we're gonna get in here. It's gonna be 4 nuts per side. We're gonna drop this axle down off from here. We're gonna undo our steering, and we're gonna start flipping it all over to figure out how we're gonna cure this girl. Check it out. Check out this pretty girl right here. She's a good dog. So Tommy already has it jacked up for us. So all we're gonna do is get in here and do the easy part. Taking stuff apart, making myself look pretty. That hurt. It hit me right on the knuckle. One down. Two down. All right, check this out. You're gonna get it right in here and bust those girls loose. Woohoo, good guess. But not so much fun. Boy, Tommy's making a stinky mess in there. Better him than me. We're taking the tie rod ends loose right now. They go up over the top of the springs. For us to drop this axle down, we have to have that loose. We're going to change how this whole configuration is anyway and make it safer. All right, well, we'll try something else.
Oh, Pete, your tires fell out.
Yep, you need to come over here and put pressure on this while I try and pop that. That didn't work, did it? Yeah, it did. Ha! Yay! First try.
Good.
Thank you. All right, get back on this, get this loosened up a little more. All right, some WD-40. Now, give ourselves a little bit of juice. This one's a booger. That's one side. Alrighty, same song, second verse. Hopefully these are in better shape. Or easier, not necessarily better shape. That was easy. I didn't need Tommy. Alright, next tie rod off. Tie rod end off of the spindle or the steering arm. Alrighty, let's drop this front end out of here. We're dropping the front end out. Let's see if it falls on its head. There you go. And there's the way it's supposed to be. We're gonna have some alterations to do. Now it's setting the right way. You'll notice that the brake cylinders are up top now instead of on bottom. This angle is pointing this direction so that it points like towards the center of where the tire would hit the patch on the ground. These are now on the wrong side. Someone welded them in like that. So we're going to build an alteration to them. We'll leave them on because hopefully they have the right angle on them. But we will put an alteration so that we can clamp it to the underneath of the spring. We'll get this thing cleaned up. We'll get it fixed and we'll get some brakes on it. You'll notice up here, it has an idler arm going down to a crossbar. This tie rod end goes down on an arm to the wheel. This tie rod arm goes on an arm down to the wheel so that it steers. We're going to completely change this. This here is the steering arm off from the steering box. So we're going to drop down, come all the way across over here and attach on with a different crossbar. It will be much better, it will be much safer, and it'll even look good.
Alright guys, I know I'm pretty sure Pete told you guys this yesterday. Anyway, so this axle, somebody had flipped it and they put it on wrong. So, man, talk about some weird steering. Anyway, this is called a kingpin. It's just a big, huge pin. And if you're setting up a straight axle at home, hot rods, all straight axles are the same. This angle, it's actually not square. It's actually like this. And that's the right way. You want the bottom of that kingpin to start trying to point towards the center of the tire when it's on there. That way it'll track right. They had it the opposite way, which would make it drive really weird. Anyway, this is a bearing. Unfortunately we have to take all this and flip all of it. We have to start by taking the drum off, and then we need to take these 4 guys off here, and then it should be easier to manage. Yup. I'm not gonna reach in there because I don't know what's creeping around in there. I don't know. Daily dirts. Shabby. Oh man. The main reason why we have to do this is because this bearing right here actually goes on the bottom of the axle. All the weight of the car sits on that bearing. So unfortunately, to put the axle in right, we have to take the hubs off and the spindles off and all that stuff. Right here was like a jam nut or jam bolt, I guess you could say, in there. This thing, it has a set screw, but also it has C-clips like a U-joint right in here. Anyway, I'm gonna gingerly try to take these apart, and hopefully they want to come apart, and that'd be cool. So hang on. I don't want to put any pressure on that bearing, so I'm going to try to drive the kingpin out that way so I don't damage that bearing potentially. So here's our end caps. I hope it just came out. That'd be cool. Getting all difficult now. I'm pretty sure there's not a top and bottom to these. It's just a pin. Hey, you know, geez, Randy. Randy is a mythical creature who lives inside my head.
Alright guys, well, we told you that they had the axle wrong, and not only did they have the axle wrong, they had the spindles incorrect. There's a bearing that goes in between the spindle and the axle itself, and then the king pin. It's a big nasty pin. We have one right here. Big nasty pin runs through there, and they had the bearing in the wrong order because they had it flipped upside down in the wrong way. So that means not only did we have to pull this all apart, as you can see, we're getting ready to pull the spindle, drive the king pin through, pull the spindle off, and we're going to redo the entire thing ground up. So, just to make a little bit of noise, we already have one side off. I don't know if you can see that side over there or not. We already have one side off, that's why I can show you the king pin. And then we're going to get it all cleaned up, and we'll get it assembled like it's supposed to be, so that nobody dies.
We had to abuse it a little bit.
Yeah, it hasn't been fun. It's a multi-tool task. This here is a very specific tool. We didn't have the right drift, so we got ourselves a great big bolt. And here's a little trick for a lot of you guys out there who like to smash your fingers. We're not ready for that, are we? But we are, yeah. Let's get it up on the other. So when you're trying to drive on something like that, which is not great, man, hold it with a pair of vice grips so you don't take your fingers off or your fingernails or whatever. And also when you're hitting, you want to have as much support underneath it as possible. You saw we were driving on it, sitting on a metal plate on the concrete slab, and that's about as good as as good as we can get here. But now we pull because we have to drop it out, it has to come underneath or further down than what this has. Then we're going to have that. What is this thing? The jack stand. We're going to have jack stand as close to that point as possible, so we have as little deflection as possible.
It's an axle holder right there.
Axle holder right there. That was a good sound. I don't know if you guys can hear the difference in sound or not, but when it started going, it makes a different sound.
Believe it or not, this is actually a good sign that we have to do this, because if the king pin's worn out, they just fall out.
Yeah.
Yay!
Alright, this should be the last one right here. There we go. And all of this because they had the bearing on the wrong side, because they actually had it on the right side for what they were trying to do, other than the fact that everything else was wrong. So
yeah, so that bearing goes on the bottom, so all the weight of the car sits on the bearing.
And it doesn't wear out. So because we have it this far apart, we're going to go through, we're going to clean everything up, we're going to get nice and spotless, we're going to get it painted, we're going to get it lubricated properly, and we'll get it all set there to where it'll do what it's supposed to do. So, also I think we're going to go to disc brakes on the front. We'll try and use the original spindles. I think that we can get a hat rotor, even if we have to get a hat rotor and build our own brackets for a caliper. I think that's the way we're going to go. For us to go through and do all the brakes with drums, shoes, wheel cylinders, all the stuff, probably going to run around, I'm guessing somewhere around $100. If we don't have to replace the drums, it would be a little less. I think we're going to go with the disc brake setup. Just make it just a little bit safer. coming down from 220, 230 miles an hour to 0. We got to be able to stop it. So anyway,
yay! That makes me happy because you guys saw me fumbling and bumbling trying to get these guys out. Pete's like, move over, I'll show you.
And just so you know, these spindles are actually off of 49 to 54 Chevy car. I know they're not 55 Chevy because when I was 12 years old and first started building my T-bucket with my father and my brothers, I had this exact set of spindles, and I know what they're for. And this is an aftermarket axle, and it's real common for them to run spindles for either early Willys, early Anglia, or 49 to 54 Chevy. And that is 49 to 54 Chevy if I've ever seen it. So anyway, that's good because we know what the bearings are. We can get good bearings. We can do everything like we need to do it. Let's get her cleaned up. So probably most of you have heard the phrase 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Well, that's not the situation on this car. It's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Yep, it seems like we're going backwards, doesn't it? But you know what? I want it to be right. I don't want to spend $1 million, but I want it to be right and I want it to be safe. And the way that steering was and the way that axle was, someone would have died in it. So we are going to get the parts and pieces put together so that we can fix this front end. We're going to get it blasted up and painted. We're going to get it assembled the right way so that you guys can have a safe car. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming by and watching. Tommy's still in there burning holes in my fender wells. You're going to see another one of those videos here soon. But at this time, I would like to thank you for coming and watching the silly things that we do. We want to encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up with that like. Share the link. Leave a comment, hit that bell notification. Remember to stop by and see our web store at www.theoddrodgarage.com. There it is. I've been told by some friends, as I said on last video, that maybe we should be the ADD garage. Okay, we both suffer from ADD. Tommy suffers from OCD. And all kinds of different Ds are involved in this entire thing. But the bottom line is this. We are the variety show. We're not the show about nothing like Seinfeld. We are the show about everything. We like lots of different cars, lots of different projects. We're always messing with something. We like to do a lot of different things. We are a variety show. We like old, we like new, we like fast, we like slow, motorcycles, cars, boats, everything. We enjoy building weird, crazy things. And it's going to get weirder and crazier as it goes. So I hope you guys continue to watch. So at this time, after all that rant and rave, all I have to say is, thanks for watching. That's about going to do it for this week. We got a ton done. We got more done than what we're going to show in this one video. We got a couple of videos stacked up because so much variety. We are the variety show.